All right, so
welcome back to Minds.
Whoa, wait a second here. Welcome back to B's podcast. I'm here with my special guest today, D. I want to have my headset on. This isn't the fucking Joe Rogan experience. This is like a much worse version. Without all the monkeys.
It's a way better version.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the monkeys.
Fuck that monkey fucker, dude. And his $100 million contract, dude. We're going to have our own millions of contracts, all right?
Yeah, all worth $1.
Yeah, all worth $1. And that's what they say, dude. They say you'd rather have 100 million contracts, each offering you $1, than one offering you $100 million.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, it's like that dude who's always like putting people underwater. He's like, you gotta wanna breathe as much as you wanna breathe.
Dude, that guy, I don't know, that guy.
He was like high as fuck when he's doing that. He's like killing people out in the water.
He was like, he had like no fucking GED either. He kept talking about his GED.
He kept on talking about GED.
It took him like 20 years to read.
Yeah, and it was like he kept on failing.
Why did they hire him?
Because it was so inspiring, man.
That's inspiring?
Yeah, it's inspiring to
kill people?
Yeah, dude. Thanks to SFDF for contributing on Patreon
the only
and
one.
making this possible. He's our number one patron.
Yeah, because he's the only one. That's why he's number one.
Yeah, you don't need to tell people that.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Rick and Morty is fucking cancer, right?
Yeah.
But I was
thinking of
talk about the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah,
like
right?
I was talking about that.
I brought it up again, but
okay. Well, you want me to hold up? I'll talk about. Okay,
I want to talk about. You're not talking about business venture, are you?
No, I'll preface it. I'll preface it.
Still my business venture.
I'll preface it, right? So this is how you got to the business venture.
Okay.
During the whole Szechuan sauce, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but Rick and Morty had some collaboration with like McDonald's, I think it was, and there was Szechuan sauce that they released. It was special Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce, and there were people that got there first, got as much Szechuan sauce as possible, and then they resold it. They resold it to these people, these Rick and Morty fans, and they were reselling it to like $25 to $50 per chicken nugget dip. And then it was like $100 or something too for a whole pack in some instances. And I just remember seeing like a
pack,
video.
You mean by one little container?
Yeah, when I say pack, I mean like
those things you dip like
chicken nuggets in and fries and stuff, like ketchup packets and stuff like that. That's how small it is. So very, very tiny. And I remember seeing this video of this fat, disgusting person who's with his father. He's like a 30-year-old man, and he's with his like 50, 60-year-old father. And he's begging his father to give him money so he can go and buy some Szechuan sauce into McDonald's. His father gave him a $100 bill, I think it was, or maybe it was a $50 bill. And then this fat, autistic slime ball ran over there and bought the Szechuan sauce. And I felt disgusted. It was at that point. You wouldn't
give your son $100?
It was at that point that I realized, because we always had that issue, right? There was always that issue with fiction and everything else. So like, oh, humanity's so bad, they're disgusting and everything. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? Humanity has the potential for such greatness. We can achieve great things, right?
And then you just see Rick and Morty Szechuan
sauce. I saw
Rick
and Morty Szechuan sauce, and it was like this great fucking epiphany.
Yeah, for most people, it's like they have some sort of like general thing that's sort of like ethereal. They'll be like, oh, pollution, oh, war and stuff. You're like, Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce.
Then I was on the same page as these fuckers who were always like, oh, humanity's so bad, that's why they need to be wiped out.
Those fucking hippies, else. Dude.
Yeah. And then I was with them, dude. I was like, yeah, they're right. They're fucking right. Humanity is disgusting.
And I was talking about it, right? And I'm like, since there's people doing this, like, we should have hopped on that, dude. Right? We're pretty desperate. And I was thinking, man, I was like,
see, you got the big brain, right? Because when I look at it, I'm like, disgusting. Purge them, right?
And I'm like, dude, that's $100 per. If we went out there, right? And like, we went, first thing McDonald's opened, we just crack a noon. We were out there waiting, got a bag full, like Santa Claus with a bag full of gifts. But instead it was like Szechuan sauce.
I can fucking picture that. Santa bag.
Literally, we're just like racing around. We hop in the car, just fucking like 2 a.m. We're going from McDonald's to McDonald's getting Szechuan sauce. We open up our own like little like lemonade stand, but sell Szechuan sauce. And then like the next level, when we run out of Szechuan sauce, we start making the Szechuan sauce. And we call it Rick and Morty Special Edition. Szechuan sauce, because they know us from all the other Szechuan sauce we've sold. They're like, oh, these guys must be legit. Look at their lemonade stand. But it's Szechuan sauce stand. And right, I don't really understand what a Szechuan sauce is. So I just
think it's like barbecue sauce.
Shit. All right, no one knows what Szechuan sauce is. Don't try to rationalize this nonsense. All right? No, there's nothing that is called Szechuan that is a real thing that someone understands. It's some freaking Morty made up. I literally buy like Soylent and shit and just find literally all the things I can and then just sell it. Be like, you want some chocolate Soylent, or not Soylent, fucking Szechuan sauce? Could you imagine all the shit you can get up with? You just put ketchup. So we got a special ketchup flavored Szechuan sauce.
And it's just ketchup.
Yeah, and they're paying like $100 per thing, dude. We would have been rich. We've been richer than Bill Gates.
Yeah, and it would have been completely like, there would be no issues with morality here because the people you're doing it to, they need to be wiped out anyway, right?
Yeah, it's like when a lion hunts a gazelle, but instead, in this case, you're selling Szechuan sauce to people who are mentally disabled. It's just like the lion hunting gazelle. Just keep on. When you do it, you're just like, I'm a lion. I get these business venture ideas all the time, but you always like have to like rein me in and stuff and be like,
yeah,
no,
I'm like,
dude,
oh, the cops are coming for us.
But now I'm starting to get you over, and you're like, now when I bring this stuff up, you're like, yeah,
yeah. Now it's not so much the morality aspect; it's the cops aspect.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. People getting that's not even illegal. It seems like there was what is
I'm
it
pretty
called?
sure it's illegal.
It's like scalping. It's
well, yeah, they're scalping, but I mean, like if you're actually making your own sauce, I think
they're not gonna be like,
fraud.
hey, you gotta distribute that Szechuan sauce there, son. Like he shows up.
Yeah, there's a cop who shows up with his nightstick,
he's
right?
Like,
he's like, let me.
you better not. I'm gonna beat you with my goddamn pickle baton.
I fucking picture that with this gay little pickle.
What's the worst that's gonna happen, dude? No one's gonna take that seriously.
What if he fucking wants to taste it, dude? He's like, fucking ketchup.
Yeah.
What if he's a Rick and Morty fan?
I was gonna say, what if the cops are Rick and Morty fans? And they show up. If the cops show up, right? We'll buy them off. We'll be like, all right, here's the deal.
We'll give you some Szechuan.
We'll give you some Szechuan sauce, and we'll give you a cut of the action, right? Yeah. We want you to watch our backs where these retards pound sauce. You work out a deal.
That's how
you bribe them with Szechuan sauce. You become like a gang overlord. It's like all the cops in the town are turned against like the townspeople.
Yeah,
they're bought out by Szechuan sauce. They're all wearing pickle suits and green police cars shaped like fucking pickles. I'm the pickle police.
Oh my fucking god! What happened? What happened to us?
Everything got better.
I don't mean us specifically. I just meant humanity, right? Like, what happened?
We're on a steep incline. That's what's happening. This is what progress looks like.
I don't like it.
You're gonna like it. Or the pickle police are gonna be coming for you, dude.
All right, I like it.
You're telling me you wouldn't love a city protected by the pickle police who are all getting paid in Szechuan sauce?
All right, well, I would like it if I was like the mob overlord, like the boss, right? Of course, I would like it, right? But if I was just a random pedestrian and I'm getting beat up by like
cops dressed in pickles.
That pissed me off.
It'd be funny too if they just like carried a pickle jar at all times. They literally throw pickles at you.
Dude, what would they do? Just have like they would have like you remember like you know those action figures or dolls when you pull the string and then it has a random quote. Is that what all you hear is just like random quotes from Rick and Morty?
Yeah,
from them? Like they have it on speaker, right?
They'll scream down Pickle Rick, dude.
Yeah.
Then once they catch you, they'll put you on the ground, right? Get the fucking ground and all that. You know what the police do? And they'll like they hit you a few times. Then as you're slowly drifting into faintness, you'll notice the cop's laying next to you, and then he's gonna turn over and he's like, I'm Pickle. I'm gonna say their name. I'm Pickle Jeff or I'm Pickle Steve every time you get arrested. And that's going to be
That's what hell looks like. That's what hell looks like.
But could you imagine that, right? Like some cops tackled you because you just like, you're trying to steal someone's Szechuan sauce.
Yeah, and you're trying to fist them.
That's the new currency.
You're trying to fist them after.
You're trying to fist them and turn them into a pickle.
Everything's a pickle in this land.
At that point, does the
when does God step in?
He doesn't. He even fears this place.
Yeah.
But at what point does if everyone's turning into if the police are pickles, right?
Yeah.
At what point does Rick and Morty just become the religion of that town?
It's already like a religion.
I mean, most things, almost everything in society, in existence, is a religion to someone.
Yeah.
Everyone, the religion is built into humans. Doesn't matter if they're an atheist, Christian.
Yeah,
everything's a fucking religion.
Atheists in general, they just fill that void with something else. They worship something else.
Corporation
something. Government, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just
human worship is just built into us.
Yeah,
you want to know why?
That's why they created the Sans religion, dude. The Sans religion.
Is that an actual thing?
Well, that's what one of our fucking subs talked about. How they were thinking that Sans was God, dude.
That is this true? Is Sans God?
Always asking the hard-hitting questions, the ones that matter.
If someone just starts saying, if someone's crazy, dude, and they're coming at me, right, and they're like, Sans is God, dude, and if you don't fucking believe me, I'm gonna fucking, and then all of a sudden right there, it's like, all right, I'm on board. That's how you survive in this world, dude.
Yeah, you just say you're a pickle.
You just say you're a pickle.
When people fucking tell you.
It's like, tell Sans I'm a pickle.
Yeah. You tell people you're that fucking pickle, you're gonna get killed, alright? That's how the world is right now.
Is this how the world is? The police are pickles, and God is Sans? I feel like if I ever talked to anyone like Henry Cavill, I'd be intimidated. Yeah, because it's just
he seems like a really nice guy, though.
He seems like a really nice guy, but it's not even that you're intimidated because he's gonna beat you up and butt rape you. It's because it's not the fear of being butt raped, okay, of being sodomized brutally by some hulking man giant. All right, from some British man giant.
Henry fuck.
Yeah, Henry fuck. It's like, dude, wait, I just wanted you to hop on my podcast. You just don't want to start off your conversation with, yeah, man, I have you as a body pillow. You know, then you draw in the bathtub.
Henry fuck.
Yeah, okay. But no, I don't know. Have you ever imagined that? You talking to yourself, talking to a celebrity, and what that would just be like? Imagine that.
Would you just imagine
how nervous you'd be?
Yeah, just imagine talking Tom Cruise.
Yeah, just even Tom Cruise, right? You're talking to some little man in a chair, but it's like, dude, this little man is twice the size of you. He could crush you with his little hands. But no, I don't know.
It's nothing to do with physical strength. It's almost like stature of accomplishment.
Yeah. It's like, this guy's accomplished way more than you, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, you feel intimidated by just the presence of what he's done.
Yeah, and also it's like, I don't know, it was like, he's a millionaire. I don't know, man. It really sucks. It really sucks. I'm about to fucking explode on someone, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Stop trying to jizz on people, dude. I'm
not talking I'm not talking about whacking off, dude. I'm talking about bomb. C4. I'm talking 300-mile explosion. You had to drop me right on shine. What would you say is your favorite movie of all time?
Braveheart.
Really? Also, if for instance, at the end, what bothered me too is that lady, she gives him something. Was it to kill himself or to dull the pain?
To dull the pain.
It was to dull the pain, right? Why didn't she just bust him out, right, and then run away with him?
She can't, because the king's the king and the prince both said to execute him. He was set to execute by the king's orders. Yeah, and it supersedes her. So she can't. She had trouble even getting in. She had to explain to the guard that she's going to be in charge very soon. So the guard was like, okay, you can go in and see him then.
Why don't you just give him a spoon so he can Shawshank his way out, dude? Just lift up a stone.
It's like fucking...
I could do this all in a fortnight.
It was in an hour that he's going to get executed.
They gave it a couple days or something, I thought.
No,
he was down there.
He was down there, right?
I thought he spent the night or something. Right?
Maybe he spent the night.
Why don't you give him a spoon?
Yeah, because he can just get out immediately. It's like stone.
Yeah, just pure stone. Dude, he's strong.
Give him a power drill.
Give him a power drill. What's the fucking issue here? But no, why didn't you just give him the key to it so that way when they come in, why didn't you think about this? There's got to be some way I could save him, instead of him going out like a bitch and going out like a martyr, It's
because there's just no way. He was in the middle of a fucking castle, owned by enemy occupants.
So
what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to be like that. Like it reminds
So
me of
like an
that,
action hero,
It
dude.
reminds me of like that Robin Hood film with Kevin Costner, where he's just like killing like 100 people by himself.
What? He just pulls out a sword, like shing. He's like, "Go ahead and bring it on, army." It's like when what was that Lord of the Rings scene where the main character Strider, he's like goes out in front of that army, but there's no army behind him. He just goes out there with his two-hander, his Zweihandle or whatever the fuck it's called, and just like goes out there and starts like he's like Sauron, and just starts fucking like waving with him. Dude, that'd be a sweet tale of Robin Hood. Like, dude, this is way better than any other tale. But no, seriously, in Braveheart, right? So he's out there in the castle.
Why didn't they give him a jackhammer?
Why didn't they give him a jackhammer? See, these are all reasonable questions. But no, what she could have done, right, is she gave him the key to the cuffs, and then she just gives him a dagger. It's like, wait, did they try to do that? You sound gonna make a fish. So, right, he's pretending like, oh yeah, I'm all tied up. And then they come up like the guards, like, and then he just like slices all their throats as he slashes around. And then who's gonna stop him? Because they're like, they tell two guys to go down there, and he's like, coming up, my lord. And then he just like, he goes up there with the guard suit.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
And then he just like plays full. But he has a better chance doing that, because then they're gonna be like, what the fuck happened? Like, well, that bitch came down here. It's like, but she wouldn't do that. She's the queen's.
No, they probably execute her. They probably execute her.
They have no evidence, though. I guess it's
it doesn't matter.
Times, right?
Yeah. They don't need evidence.
But how could they blame her? Like, he could have overpowered the guards. His legend would continue. Because, like, back then, people believed in all sorts of weird legends.
Because of a 2.5 hour runtime, dude. That's why.
But I don't know. I would have preferred an ending like that. If he kind of went down swinging, just him just, like, dying as a martyr just felt kind of like a disappointment. I understand the general message.
It was supposed to be, like, disappointing in a sense. Because, like, he kept putting himself out there to try to get something done. And believe in people, yeah.
And believe in his fellow countrymen and stuff like that.
And it was all misplaced. It was all misplaced.
Yeah. And then at the end, it kind of just shows he didn't really get that. They got it for like a short period because he died. Whatever. Like, it actually kind of made me want to look up and see what happened to that guy that kept on showing in the movie, who was like screaming about his like leopard dad, and he was gonna like beat him up and rape him or whatever.
Yeah,
he was angry that he made him beat up
his Bruce.
Mel Gibson.
Bruce the Fifth. Or he used the line
Bruce
of
Grant. Sure was the fifth. I thought it was like the 11th or something, dude. It's like, how many fucking lines has there been?
He's a bunch of Bruces.
Yeah, he's a bunch of Bruces. And
yeah, he's the latest Bruce.
Yeah, he's the latest Bruce. Like, this new model came out.
He's always giving like that 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, he's always like looking behind people, you know, it looks like, because of just like how he stares.
Yeah.
And his one eye is going a different direction.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to be like him, father. I want to be like Longshank. So what the fuck is this?
Yeah, he wants to be like the enemy.
Yeah. Death to the Braveheart.
He's like, that's the title of the film, son.
What the fuck was the line? Like, leave that entire thing in. He's like, the boom mic coming down. He's like reading through the script. What happened to that guy, right? Did he just like die or something, and that's why Scotland lost their freedom?
Yeah.
I don't know any history, dude. Like that, let alone European history.
He had the fucking toilet paper in his hand, dude.
What?
Yeah, the toilet paper that Mel Gibson used.
Oh, yeah, like that one little thing, and then, yeah, he like it inspired him. He's like, this is my master's, yeah. I'll do this for you, Braveheart. It's like, it's not his fucking...
Why are you calling it fucking Braveheart then? I don't get it.
Yeah. Why was the movie called that? But no, like, when did his friends arrive? They arrived during his execution, right?
Yeah, they stuck in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense, too, for him to be like, I want you guys to wait outside while I, like, go in. And if I don't come out...
It wouldn't have made any difference anyway. Like, he'd had to bring all of his troops.
Well, that isn't necessary. He just needs to be busted out of, like, the keep. So they just have to...
But they, like, Longshanks had a shit ton of troops there.
So he was able to kill that one Scottish lord, whatever, who he went in with his bedroom and fucking smashed this thing with a mace, and he made an action hero getaway. Tell me you make an action hero getaway then, but not when it matters.
Because it's like thousands of people on him.
He also snuck into, like, fucking Batman, into, like, when they're having that, like, meal on a long table, and he dropped their body as they were talking, just waiting there, holding his fucking body above them, waiting for the right moment until he spoke about him to release his body.
No, that was just coincidence because he put his body up there, I think.
You sure? I thought he was just up there in the beams, just, like, watching him.
No!
That's what I imagined.
Why would you imagine that? It doesn't show that at all.
Could you imagine, like, he looks up, he sees some milk,
like, I got you.
Yeah, got you. Braveheart, it's you.
That's not his fucking name!
But how the hell? So you're telling me his body was just slowly drooping as like the conversation? Because like he had to have done that either. Because if he did that the previous night or something, then why would it just fall then when they're having dinner? Wouldn't it just fall beforehand? They're like, oh, there's a fucking body here.
It's coincidence.
Now, why isn't the exact moment they're talking about?
It's coincidence, dude. Maybe he had a string. Maybe he was outside of the thing, and then he just pulled it. Yeah, he was like
watching through the window.
And then maybe you could see in one scene Mel Gibson's face, and then he pulled a string.
That would have made more sense. But it's like they didn't really explain that part. He does all this like action hero stuff, but at the end he's just normal man. But like in the middle of battle, he's like, and he's like going around like slicing people's heads up. He's like making all these noises and like slaughtering like fucking like 3 dozen dudes with no fucking injuries, just going around. And then it's just like at the end, he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to escape. It's like, really? You can?
I'm depressed now.
Yeah, I'm just depressed.
I'm normal man now.
Yeah. I don't know, it just seemed a little convenient for him to be realistic only at the end. And not do anything like...
Well, it wasn't, like... The whole thing is, like, it was just too much even for an action hero, right? Like, he was caught. Again, he was caught by way too many people. And he didn't have a sword, I thought. He didn't even have a sword. I thought he gave up his sword.
Yeah, he gave up his sword, and they just jumped him, beat him up. And then that's the thing, too. He recovered, too, because they beat the hell out of him. And then he had to be some time before they showed up.
Well, they had to transport him to England.
And that's the thing, too. Is like, well, there was no opportunity during all that, like, them transporting him and stuff. You're telling me none of his followers would have wanted to make sure he was okay, even against his best wishes? You're telling me that William Wallace would have no opportunity to escape during all this?
No, he's not going to have any opportunity to escape because he's going to have, like, a shit ton of the King's Guard on him, dude.
But why didn't she approach him? Because she obviously learned of his capture probably before then. Or did she learn it only when he was transported to the keep?
I have no fucking idea. It could have been just a well-kept secret as well.
Yeah. But that's the thing, too. It's like, if his men was waiting outside and they saw him being transported or saw that he had been captured in some way, you know, they're just like, they're watching from a distance from, like, you know, hiding in the grass or something, trying to see what's happening inside the keep. And then if he doesn't, you know, come out within a day or something, then they're like, oh, you know, there's like...
They gotta go save Braveheart.
They gotta go save Braveheart.
You gotta get that dumb fuck to stop, like, betraying everybody.
Yeah, and he keeps on accidentally betraying everybody. Like, whoops,
my father gunned out.
Yeah, my father did it. Oopsie, I'm sorry, Braveheart. Why is it called Braveheart, too, the movie?
Because his heart is brave, dude.
Is that the reason why?
It's something like that, probably, yes.
Why isn't it just called the William Wallace story?
Because that's not as...
It's not as simple?
Yeah, no, it's just not as good as a title, dude.
Yeah, it's about your hearts being brave.
Yeah. It's not like a terrible name.
No, it's pretty good. But yeah, so when it comes to Braveheart, though, it's like it's inconsistent in the sense that it consistently like portrays him as like an action hero. All the stars are aligning for him to like lead his own faction, his rebellion and stuff. And then at the end, it's just like he's no longer like an action hero, nor does he save himself.
There's no point in which that he can fight off 100 people, and never established that. So there's no, like, discontinuity
here. He don't need to fight 100 people. He doesn't need to, like, rip off the bars from the window and start, like, fucking Hadoukening, like, the goddamn guards.
I'm talking about when he got his ass beat, when he got jumped. Like then. Like,
yeah, he's not like, he's like, whoa! Like, throw them all off. Obviously.
That's what you're fucking demanding to happen.
You're like, he's an
action hero.
Stands up.
he better
like punching holes through their heads. Like, this movie's fucking sweet. That'd be my favorite movie. Like a sharp turn like that. We'd be in different spots.
That's what you fucking want, though. You just keep saying that he's an action hero, like he's just doing these ridiculous things. It wasn't that ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous, sure, but there's a lot of things in history that are preposterous as well.
Yeah,
there are tales of men and what they've accomplished that are preposterous. So let's just say that all the stars aligned and he was able to do those things. He was beat and then taken in secret by those people and brought to their kingdom. On top of that, Mel Gibson's character, William Wallace, didn't have any, like a majority of his men were fucking killed. And he was just going around trying to get conscripts from local villages. And then he's like, this is like, we're not going to be able to do anything unless we get the people that have a majority of the soldiers available for the Scottish territories to work with us. So he went there, he got his ass beat by like 100 people. Then they took him back to the
100 people didn't jump him. There wasn't like an army waiting in the shadows.
There was like 100 people stationed there, though. Like it kept showing, like it was like 100, maybe 50. It kept panning to people that were working with them.
Yeah, but the place where he was jumped didn't have has a lot of people because it was the Scottish place that he got jumped originally, and then they took him to the British area, which was a keep. So the area there had guards, but not a whole lot.
Well, that just means that his boys didn't back him up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? He had like 20 men or something. So it's like he could have legitimately fought with them or something.
If they could find him, though.
But that's the thing. He should have had them like watching from a mountain or something, you know?
Yeah, he should have like had a tracker on him, dude.
He should have had that guy talk to his god, you know, like how that guy kept on talking to God and then he would like tell him. Yeah, he should have had something. He didn't even make an attempt. He was like, I could not. Let's find out.
Braveheart, no!
Yeah, Braveheart, my daddy leper, he done beat you to death.
My daddy did it again.
Yeah, my bad daddy. He goes in daddy. And then he starts beating up his dad. He's like, all right, daddy. You're not Braveheart.
You ugly heart.
You're ugly heart. He's like, read the fucking script. He just keeps on making up shit on the spot every time.
That guy needs to be stopped. That's why, dude. That's why he always had that 1,000-yard stare, the 1,000-mile stare, or whatever.
Because he forgot the script.
No, because someone's holding the script there and he's looking at it,
trying to read it.
He probably had way more lines, dude. He just fucking forgot him. He's like, he can't even read it.
He just says like William Wallace, not Braveheart.
And it's behind the character he's looking at.
Yeah.
Some guy holding it up. It takes him a long time to process it, too. He's just like staring at it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Like, the movie did a lot of things that were good. And a lot of things I liked. It showed, like, the corruptness and the it was really easy to bribe people. And it showed a lot of, like, medieval things that happen nowadays, you know, with, like, bribery and backhanded stabbing and all those sorts of things that kind of go on.
It's just like it's a human nature, in a sense, like, for just people to do very bad
they
things.
Get very,
try to get a better, like, just to be a better position in life, they're willing to screw over any type of...
And people are just attracted to power. And when you get these areas where people, like, there's, like, a certain area where people accumulate power or something, those people, most corrupt people would be attracted to that. So... Because most normal people, most good people are kind of just like, I just want to patch a land and grow some veggies, you know?
Yeah, and that kind of showed that
do.
The simple people just wanted that, and the
they
people in positions,
peasant dreams.
They wanted simple peasant dreams, and the people in positions of power, they wanted to accrue more power.
Yeah. But I thought that would have been more interesting if, like, she tried to help him escape or something, and then...
Well, the whole point was...
for him to die a martyr.
Yeah, he didn't want to die a martyr either.
And that's the thing, too. He only really died in front of the British people.
Yeah, but not the Scottish people.
Not the Scottish people.
But his friends told the stories of what happened.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? So then it's like, the British people are like, oh yeah, we want freedom too. Let's kill those Scots. It's like the opposite reaction. Oh, British soldier died. It's like, that's Braveheart. It's like, who? It's like, oh yeah, Braveheart, the British soldier.
Yeah. They co-opt it. They co-opt William Wallace and they say he was British.
Yeah.
And then the Scots killed him.
Yeah, the Scots killed him.
See, that's how you have to be a master of propaganda, because then you could have done that.
They could have, yeah. Like, that's the thing. What if it turned out that way? Because he's planning to do, like, this great thing where he's like Jesus being whipped, you know, and torn apart, and he's like screaming for freedom.
That happened with us. That was our guy. Like the bad guy said that.
If people were inspired, that's all I gotta say. They just have the guards spread the rumors and stuff, and then they could take advantage of the situation. It's like small complaints. I like the overall message. It's kind of a sweet message. It's like it's pretty short and sweet.
One man can make a difference.
One man can make a difference. Fight against evil, even if it costs you your life. And that's what his like speech was about too. It's like, would you trade all those moments up to your life when you're safely dying on your deathbed for this moment for a chance to stand up against tyranny and the evil?
Yeah, and fight for a future that's better than what you're going to live out otherwise.
Yeah, other than, you die.
Instead of living as a slave.
Yeah, and it was a very inspirational message and stuff like that. I don't think choosing Scotland's heritage was the best setting for it. I like that's the thing, right? The Scotland has a lot of beautiful areas. That's what was nice about the movie too. I liked was the cinematography around Scotland, and I'm like, it's actually quite a beautiful island. But when it comes to their heritage, it's like there's not many interesting things about Scotland
outside of Braveheart, dude.
Yeah, it's like you could have done the same thing with Ireland. Like Ireland, then they just would have been drinking more. It's like I don't know. There's probably a better setting, dude. He should have done like the Patriot 2 and then set that there. And he was like, we're going to fight the British again. This time we're going to take over Britain. He's like invading. It's like, it's like fire! Like cannonballs flying through the sky and,
He's going to be the new king.
Yeah, he's going to be the new king. Why does Mel Gibson never do this kind of thing?
What if that guy that kept saying Braveheart, what if he just became the new Braveheart? Once Mel Gibson died, he's like, who was he? It's like, he's Braveheart. I'm Braveheart. I'm the legend.
I'm the Braveheart.
He was my disciple.
Yeah, he was my disciple. Yeah. I taught him everything he knows. That's the thing too. Why didn't that guy try to risk his life to save him? Right? Because he could have got into the keep to visit him too.
Because he's a coward.
Yeah, but I thought he was like gaining up the courage and stuff. Wouldn't he be like, you know what? Now that I know
my heart's brave now too.
My heart's brave now too after you died a horrible death. It's super brave. Go ahead and kill him, man. No, but like, why didn't he, right? So that's another question. So there was a moment where he got all, like, Braveheart got all jumped by some dudes, and then he was like, no, don't beat my friend. Daddy, make him stop. And then he goes up and he yells at his father. He's like, look what you did at Braveheart. And his father gets all pissed off again, starts talking about a script or something. Why didn't he decide to go and stop? Like he goes, finds his own men, his own like personal guard, go raise some farmers. Like, we're gonna go attack the caravan that's transporting them because I know which direction they're heading and which keep.
Because I don't think anybody was really loyal to him. They were loyal to his father because his father was still like the owner of the land.
But yeah, but that's the thing, right? He's a leper, right? If he really wanted to, he could slice up his father right there to help him. He could just straight up gut him like a fish. And
yeah, he should have.
Yeah, he could have.
Because he was the next Bruce, dude.
He was the next Bruce.
He's like Bruce 11.0.
Yeah.
They come from a very shitty lineage.
So he had an opportunity there for that Bruce guy. And that brings Bruce guy's the character into question, because he could have saved Braveheart.
He could have done a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
like that was like the last moment where it's like he could turn everything around, because he was saying that, and he was saying how much he hated his dad and stuff. And he was like, you might hate doors with you and stuff like that. And he's like, Braveheart. And he closes the door.
And then he like lights a match and then throws it in there so he burns alive.
Yeah, he burns alive. Like, oh no, my daddy. And he's like, okay, now Bruce, we're gonna go save Braveheart.
And that guy actually killed the other actor when he lit him on fire. That was a part of it.
Help him! Help me, he's fucking crazy. Like, no, look away. It's like, no, he's supposed to die in this script. He's like, oh, who's Braveheart here? Keeps on going fucking off script.
And this is my story.
Yeah.
I'm Braveheart.
I'm Bruce the Braveheart. But no, I just, yeah, like, it could have saved him there. I like the movie and everything. But it feels like one of those things, like, that scene felt like, kind of like, pushed, like it had to happen. Like, we know this character, this historical figure gets gutted in front of a bunch of people. They, like, use his entrails as a sippy straw, to, like, drink his brain matter.
Yeah, that's what Bruce was doing.
Stuff like that. That's what Bruce
I don't know why.
I keep going so far.
He bought all the pieces.
Yeah.
He's like using Mel
Give me
Gibson's
your
head.
essence, Braveheart.
He's using Mel Gibson's head as like a flask for his mead.
Yeah. Look how brave he was. Not a drop spilled. Yeah, I like Braveheart a lot. I see so many flaws in it. I think something like Blade Runner 2049 is one of the very few movies where I can't really find a flaw in it. I mean, there's not many. I
don't think it's necessarily a flaw, but I just don't think that. And I found it compelling, but it's just like I wasn't too enthralled. I didn't find the overall message to be something that was incredibly compelling. It was compelling, but not compelling enough. I personally didn't feel
moved or
to a small degree,
inspired.
But yeah, inspired, emotionally, like just anything really. I mean, like just being moved in general.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like that is always great when it comes to art to have something that specifically is meant to inspire. But I don't think the point of Blade Runner, and that's another aspect of art. So it didn't go for the same aspect, and it just comes down to taste, really. So you prefer,
it's subjective.
You prefer like number one thing, probably inspiration. Right?
Yeah, I prefer to be inspired. It's
so,
why I like Berserk and everything as well, and even DBZ. Like that's why I like those things, because I want to be inspired. I think that it's a good thing to have a positive message.
Yeah, and that's the other aspect of art is perception. So putting yourself in the view of the character and seeing their life through their eyes and telling a story which is compelling and makes you think differently about just general things. So, for instance, in this case...
To expand your mind or your
To expand your mind and
your
perspective, like I just said, yeah. So, in this case, you get to see the perspective of basically... and that's the thing, too, it does, too. That's another part of art I forgot to mention. Philosophical questions. And the main philosophical question it tackles is, what is human? And I think all of that was just fascinating, interesting, but it was done in such an artistic way to where it was almost flawless in its presentation, in its execution, in every aspect. It was really weird. The only thing I could say was maybe the sound, the music could have been better, maybe. Like they could have found someone, because didn't you say that they hired someone else because like the original guy they had planned was really good, but then they had to like hire a guy to kind of copycat his stylization of music?
I forget specifically what because I remember reading about stuff like that, and I'll tell you, and then I end up forgetting because I just don't. It's like information that I don't catalog. Yeah, I don't really find it important.
Yeah,
so I don't really specifically remember that, but.
I would say like that's how I would rate my favorite movie. It wouldn't be about like what I enjoyed most. I would say it's it's partly that, but I think
the importance that you think it holds and what it asks or what it presents.
Yeah, and its artistic merit and also its execution.
But art in general is just subjective. So all of this majority is just subjective.
Right, but at the same time, I think it's one of those things. Like for instance, Braveheart, I can think about a lot of things wrong with it, but Blade Runner, I can't. And it's a really rare thing. Like anytime I watch a movie, there's always things I have to say about it. But Blade Runner, anytime I watched it, it was like
there may be things where you can say, oh well, I can't criticize these aspects because
I just couldn't find anything to criticize about it.
Well, I've seen other people criticizing the pacing of the movie. I didn't agree with them, but I'm just saying, like it just a lot of it is
that's nitpicking, right? Because like
it's just again it's subjective in a lot of these measurements.
I'm saying that for certain measurements, there's subjective matters, right? But there's also objective. So, for instance, the things I brought up in Braveheart, the fact that he dropped the dead body at the same time as that happens, is like that's a pretty objective. That is something that happened in the movie, and it is something that you could tell 99 people out of 100, like they would agree that's,
I think things like that, like, so a lot of things, like a lot of times is that's just stylization. So to create the impact necessary for what's happening in the scene, they use stylization to achieve said point. So that would mean something improbable happening.
Like him dropping a dead body.
Dropping a dead body.
And that's the difference between that and Blade Runner. Blade Runner doesn't take the shortcut route of like, well, this has just got to happen. And it's like, don't really ask any questions about how it happened. It's not like it's saying don't ask any questions, but it's one of those things to where it's like you're not gonna get an answer. It's like, well, was Mel Gibson waiting up there? It was like the question before. Was he holding a string for the body? Is it the body fell at the right time?
The body fell at the right time is what it's supposed to be.
But that doesn't make any sense. Like, he would have to sneak in beforehand,
Yes,
and it's literally only at the exact moment they're talking about it, it just happens to fall over.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just like it's ridiculous for it to be at that moment. It's like, sure, could it happen? Yeah, but it's like, again, it just follows in line with the rest of the movie of it being like a lightning strike situation where everything's just like perfect storm. Apparently, even the dead bodies fall at the right time. And didn't they say Wallace was in the area when they said that? And they're like going out of swords, like they're looking for him. Or something?
He said search the area.
Search the area. Yeah, that's what it was. So they assumed he was in the area because he was like, the dead body had just dropped and that guy died in that area. So they assumed, and I assumed too.
Okay. So what could have happened too is he killed him and he just put him up there. Then they started eating. So it's like the body was up there for like 5 to 10 minutes, and they just started eating. They just convened, and then it could have fell. That seems less improbable if it was only up there for a short period of time.
Also, why did he choose to carry his body all the way up there? That's the thing too. You're talking about a grown, like 200-pound man that he has to throw over his shoulder and climb up on like the banister.
Because he probably wanted to shock as many people as possible, and if he put
how is it not going to have it's not going to have the effect he wants if it doesn't fall. So how is he going to be sure it falls?
Because most likely it's going to fall no matter what. They eat for a long time and they discuss matters for a long time, so it'll fall no matter what.
What do you mean it'll fall no matter what? If he puts it... Okay, so that's the thing, right? So how do you position a dead body to where you know it'll fall between 5 and 10 minutes?
It wasn't that it had to happen during that specific time frame. It was that it had to happen when at all. Eating. Yeah. No, it just had to happen at all because they discuss matters for a long period of time. Then they eat for a long period of time. So we're talking about an hour at the very least.
Yeah.
So he could have just slung it up there, and it could have just he could have just put it up there, and then maybe they wouldn't have found him at all, or maybe he would have just fell at a later date. Who knows? But it wasn't something specific that I think that he planned out where it's like, oh, they need to fall at this specific time. I don't think that was it. It didn't need to have that specific effect because he was just killing them. Do you think that he wanted that specific effect for when he smashed that other guy's face in? He did it in his bed. He was just killing them. And then he probably tossed the body up there because maybe it would have fallen on them when they're eating, or maybe the blood would have gotten on their food. Who knows?
And that's
he could have
just
hit the body too. He literally could have just put it up there to hide the body, and he could have ran too.
It also kind of assumes too that the body's fresh because remember the blood starts dripping.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So he killed them short.
So they were already dining for a while, and then all of a sudden the blood starts dripping. Why was it?
They weren't dining for a while. They just sat down to start dining.
They were talking for a bit. Like the scene happens.
They just started talking.
Right, but the blood starts happening why didn't when they're walking in see blood dripping? It's like the body had to have been fresh, so they had to have been. This is actually so that actually kind of proves that he had to have snuck in the middle of the meeting. Right, he has dead body on his back. He's slowly creaking up the banister, on 2 boards, just listening to them, and he's fucking balancing this dead body, and then just slowly sets it down, and then he sees the dripping, and then he has to slowly get it out,
and then Bruce is like Braveheart.
Yeah, Braveheart. He's like shh. It's fucking Mel Gibson. I mean, it's William Wallace. Give it to me now, you fuck. But no, so yeah, that is a scene to where something like that would have happened.
It could have been possible that the blood was just dripping in general too, and it started dripping more because the body was shifting weight on the top of the pillar.
Well, that's the thing, right? And that's the thing too of how is that body positioned? How big is the pillar that he's? Is he just is he half hanging off?
Yeah.
Because then he would have been dripping blood the entire time. How would he not be shifted dropping blood until the very end?
The body dropped because the body dropped right after. So it probably was dripping blood, but just in a different area, and they didn't notice. Some other guy's just chowing down on his blood soup, no one didn't fucking notice.
Now you didn't even want to look up the architecture of this building and go even deeper. I feel like it should be a full-length discussion of Braveheart, scene, whatever, and then just look at it, because it doesn't make any sense. That's the thing, right? So, yeah, if it's hanging off and it's dripping blood, so I don't even know what do you think is, because let's see what you're thinking to rationalize this nonsense. So what would you say rationalizes it? Is the most rational thing? Is it that he's on a big wooden log that is support beam?
Yeah. Or is that he's on it's a support beam above their table, and he must have killed them beforehand, before this meeting, shortly before, and he slung the body up there probably to hide it.
Yeah,
and
and
then
it made
ran
sense,
and then ran. Like it probably wasn't even like this idealistic it wasn't supposed to be like something that was just like I want it to have a specific impact on all these people. It was probably just like he hid the body up there and fucking ran. And then it happened like that because it was pure happenstance.
Yeah, and if that happened, right, it wouldn't take very long for it to start dripping down blood, especially if it had...
Like I said, it was probably dripping down blood already. No one noticed it because they were talking to each other.
Did you notice a giant blood stain on the floor?
No.
There was like a big old blood and just like dripping blood.
No,
like leaky faucet.
Bruce is too busy fucking yelling at the old people about Braveheart.
Don't you know that Braveheart?
And they didn't notice this giant fucking like pool of blood because of him.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess there's a chance because so to go on your side for a moment, there's a scene in there where he slams the table and yells. So there's a chance that him slamming the table could have like that 1-ton support beam could have shifted his body up. They're like, whoop, time to drop.
That's my cue.
That's my cue. I was a Braveheart. You fucking just fall. So there's a chance that could be it, but the reasoning and the everything is shaky. The thing that's most logical is that he would have stood up there and then slowly kicked it off, and then got out of there just to dig it in. Like I'm calling for mind games. Fucks to play some mind games with them, like Batman, basically. Like a 13th or whatever century this is. I have no idea.
I don't care. He could be Batman. Either one works for me. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, the Batman one makes the most sense because it's like I said, it's up there for a bit and only starts dripping for a moment. So meaning like he's pushing it and then like the hand comes over, it's dripping blood and then he just shoves it, and then that's why it comes off and just fucking falls.
But why didn't they see him then when they looked up? He just disappeared like Batman?
Disappeared like Batman, dude. Just
well, I mean, it could have been that
they gotta look up and the support beam blocking him. You can't.
Well, it wasn't even that. They looked at the body for like a good 5 to 10 seconds, then they looked up.
Yeah, so he could have been gone by then. Like so, as soon as he did that, all he did was like sprinted. Yeah, and then just.
But it had like amazing balance at the same time.
Some like Assassin's Creed roof to roof stuff.
Yeah.
You see William Ross flying around on rooftops.
William Ross?
William Ross. That's his name. But yeah, it was that scene that bothered me in Braveheart, and then there's one where he like actually liked, and it's where he's just like angry, but he like that's the thing too. He burst into his house with the horse, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't really like. So for instance, I'm not gonna argue too much about bursting into like his large gated locked house. It looked like it could have been unlocked.
I think it was unlocked.
Yeah, but him sneaking his horse stealthily into his house as he sleeps. It's like, dude, how much of a heavy sleeper do you need to be for someone to sneak a fucking horse into your house? Seriously. So right, that can be explained away by him being a heavy sleeper or something, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's got like narcolepsy, he's like, then like William Moss had to like poke him a few times to wake him up.
Okay. Well, yeah. There's also another argument against that too. Is that
it's a silent horse?
Real stealthy. No,
he was trained for it.
Yeah. He just drank a bunch of mead before he went to bed.
Yeah,
he just got plastered. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like that's actually pretty plausible.
But didn't he wake up when he like went into his room?
Yeah, because he made a lot of fucking noise. He woke up because he had a dream about him.
Yeah,
and then
he like burst into his room. Yeah, with the horse.
Yeah, so maybe he heard something beforehand and he woke up.
And wouldn't he have guards also?
Probably killed them.
Yeah, he kills those guards.
Yeah.
But other ones outside
Yeah, because there's only 2. It's the difference between 2 and then 10. And then he doesn't have his weapon either. And he had the element of surprise as well. Does he have the element of surprise when 20 fucking people are going over to butt fuck him? I don't think so.
I'm talking about, like I said, I'm not talking about when they initially beat him up. I'm not saying he should just like force them up and send them flying like 100 miles. Like I said, that would have been great. Like he just like picks up one by the fucking belt and just like throws him into the sun. I'm really fucking Mortis.
And then he becomes like the new English king.
Yeah, he becomes like the new English king, and then like the one fucking retarded guy's like, yeah, his knees like, oh Braveheart, oh my, let me be your concubine.
And he gives him leopard babies.
Yeah, he gives him some leopard babies. Yeah. There's a happy ending for everybody. But no, I'm specifically talking about when he's like locked in the cell.
Yeah, well, that would have taken her to provide him with those things, and she didn't.
Well, or it would have taken Bruce intercepting his caravan.
Or his friends intercepting his caravan. But they had to find him first, too.
Yeah, because like he said, like, no, stay here. It's like, if I die, I want to make sure that no one's there to back me up, or if I get jumped, no one's there to back me up. They had like no backup plan.
Well, he talked about that. They explained this away at the beginning, like before all that happened. It's like, what if it's a trap and we can't really save you because we don't have a whole lot of men.
It feels like some foreshadowing. It's like,
it was extreme foreshadowing because he explicitly said he didn't want to be a martyr.
Yeah. He's like saying how he didn't want a martyr, then he's a martyr. Yeah. But yeah, so it felt like super. Like I'm just imagining now, like bursting off a bunch of men and going into like a blood rage or something.
Tearing men apart with his hands.
Yeah. Just like fucking like sticks both his hands in and splits them apart. The fucking
that's a director's
one
cut
guy
edition.
with the 1,000-mile stare just like watching on the time, like just like playing expression. He's like cutting to his face as it happening.
Yeah, it's a director's cut, dude. That happened.
Yeah. So there's all those things that could happen, but it was the scene I was going to talk about after, not him silently trotting into his home and then him waking up after he's at his drunken haze when he bursts down his bedroom door and slams his face with a maze. It's when they make the jump. There's an obvious scene. There's like a small like
you can see the horse's face.
You see the horse's face.
Yeah.
There's a scene like that. So there's just objective things that are errors that they just didn't care about. And that kind of bugs me.
So this is what could have happened. They could have kept doing it with the horse, and they're like,
the horse is dead.
Yeah, they killed like 5 horses.
Yeah,
they're like, fucking just use a fake one. Like,
yeah. But it felt really lazy. And it's like, well, why didn't you just cut to him falling in the water and then show the horse in the background already in the water?
Yeah, why couldn't you just cut to him in the water already?
Yeah, because it looks bad seeing a fake horse.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. So that should have been cut. And that just felt like an actual editing error or whoever made that decision. So there's an actual like objective error in the movie.
It was Mel Gibson, dude.
It was Mel Gibson.
He's a director, so.
Yeah, I mean, and he's the main star. It's like he should have more say than anybody.
Yeah, so he probably, maybe he didn't think it looked too bad.
Yeah, it's like, it reminds me of Sylvester Stallone and whoever he's been hiring to do his, like, blood animation. And it really, like, I'm the only one who seems to notice things like this. But for instance, his blood effects are terrible. And I see the same blood effects. It's like almost a stylization choice. And it looks fucking awful.
Are you talking about his action movies?
It looks like cartoony. Yeah, his action movies. I watched the Expendables and stuff like that. You ever watch
the Expendables?
Blood?
Yeah, the Expendables stuff.
It does not look like blood. It was
dude,
so
those
silly.
movies in general are bad, all right?
They are
My
bad.
turn.
Yeah.
And then he rapes Jet Li.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And then people are just like wondering what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, so there's a scene where Jet Li's beating up on Dolph Lundgren, and then Dolph Lundgren's like, what's that small China man?
Yeah.
And then just like start killing like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Make Bruce watch. He's like, Braveheart, good job.
Yeah, good job, Braveheart.
You killed all my men.
You killed all my men. Now kill me, Braveheart. I wish to die by your glorious face.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Anything you want to say? Yeah.
Thank you.
You need to stop being an asshole and talking about how Braveheart could have killed 1,000 men by throwing them all off and then like doing some like DBZ shit where he's teleporting behind them.
That would have been fucking sweet, man. Like it just like
teleporting and shit.
He's quick. Nanu.
Yeah, he unleashed his killing intent, dude.
He's killing intent. He was the original, whatever that is, Carl Stevenson.
Yeah, he's the original Carl Stevenson.
But all right.
That was the inspiration.
Let us know what you want to see. We appreciate the suggestions in the comments, and usually we look through it and we think, oh, well, this will work. This, it allows us to see what
people want.
And
we can go forward kind of trying to take those suggestions in tandem with things that are feasible for ideas or anything else. It just
helps give us direction and understand what people want. So, let us know, and we'll see you on that next one. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. See you later, Braveheart.